Kia ora koutou, ngā mihi ki a tātou I tēnei wā, e hare ana te ngākau ki te hoki mai ki ngā te Kahungunu. Ko taku whānau e noho ki te Hauke Hills 90210. Ko tōku whakapapa ki ngā te Kahungunu ki Wairoa no Whakaki, the Solomon whānau. So humbled to be here and really to come and kōrero. I spend most of my time up ki te Norta in the north, and around Tamaki Makaurau, so humbled to be able to come and talk about the maramataka to our own whānui down here. Oh, there it is there. So my kōrero is ngā kitinga of the maramataka, insights into the maramataka. There's been a massive revolution of claiming back our indigenous rights around maramataka. And so when we talk about today, the maramataka is tangaro kiokio. This is really exciting. I wrote this the other day and I can't remember what I sent through on the slides. So you'll just be just as surprised as I am as I'm going through. So maramataka is about reclaiming what is our indigenous spaces. But also what's more exciting is that today we try and fit it into the Gregorian calendar and colonized calendar, which was written by Pope Gregory in 1582, which was used to identify when Easter was. And so we're following this calendar in our day, in which they went around the world and they colonized different countries and put us all on the same time map. So a lot of our indigenous and mātauranga was lost as we transferred over to the Gregorian calendar. When we looked at the Gregorian calendar, it's written in the northern hemisphere and doesn't fit here within Aotearoa. It doesn't run with our seasons. Here how they tell us that the 1st of spring is on the 1st of September, summer's on the 1st of December, but our plants and our fauna and our environment tells us different. So today will be Tangaroa Kiokio, which is the shape of the marama. It's going into Haratua, which is a star rising in the east. Today our environment is Matiti Rau Tāpata and Matiti Rau Angiana. Those are one of the 6th and 7th phases of summer. Matiti Rau Tāpata is when the trees are dropping their seeds, and the karaka and all the miro and everything are all there. And the birds are feasting on them, and they say in the north that the kukupa or the keruru are getting a little bit fat and drunk, and that you can just watch them. Don't eat them. So our whole maramataka is more than just a lunar calendar. It's tuia ki te rangi, tuia ki te whenua, tuia ki te mōna. E rongo te pō, e rongo te ao. This is the whole triangulation. We put this into a Western framework. They'll call this triangulation. What is written in the heavens and upon the land and upon the sea is reflected in the divisions between night and day. So when our tupuna, when they would study the maramataka, they would look at what was in the heavens, what was happening on the whenua, and what was happening in the moana. Our maramataka isn't indigenous to Aotearoa. It came through from the Pacific. It started up in Hawaii. If I can put the maramataka in its simplest way, maramataka is knowing where you stand. If you know where you stand, then you work with the environments that are there. So one of the things that we come out, what I got into maramataka was introducing it into mental health spaces and into DHB, working with our whānau. Because everything we looked at was from the lens of view of the Western academic. All our stats and everything are presented to us in an academic way. We wanted to flip that upside down and take it from a lens of a Māori, but through the pupil and the karu of a Māori, from an eye of a Māori, so it has a whole lot of different meanings. And in between that maramataka we have sitting behind it is all the different pūrākau and all the different atua. So just to give you an example, coming up, my friend was over in Spain, Te Hamoa, and he took a photo of a puhutakawa. And it wasn't a puhutakawa, but it was the bottleneck, the bottle scrubbing. And he goes to me, hey, I said, get up early in the morning and tell me what you see in the morning. And he said, the only thing I see is the back of my karu. So I said, okay, well, I want you to go and have a look what star. So he had a look, and Rehua was rising in the morning. Rehua's Antares. Antares is the red star. The whakapapa over here in Aotearoa, when Rehua rises, ka muramura, te puhutakawa blooms red. So we got tui ki te rangi is this rehua, tui ki te whenua is the pahuta kawa, he aha te tohu o te moana whānau. Anyone going to go? The kinas are fat, my whānau. Tui ki te rangi, tui ki te whenua, tui ki everything triangulates. So we got the Antari star, rehua rising in the morning, which triggers the northern pahuta kawa to bloom, which is the kinas of fat. The kōwhaia blooming, the tamuri are starting to fat, are starting to grow, so we triangulate everything whānau. So we go to the next line. Oh, there we go. I jumped ahead. I told you it would be exciting. I probably jumped right ahead. I get next line. So we're going to go into the maramataka. So the maramataka is about the study of the environment where you sit. So in Hawaii, they writ the maramataka and they sat there and they identified their environment and adapted to there. As our tupuna, they travelled across to Tahiti. They took their same maramataka and then they adapted it again. When they travelled through all the Pacific Islands, Samoa, Tonga, Rarotonga, was all about studying their environment and adapting. As we came down to Aotearoa, we brought the same mātauranga. In Aotearoa, we have hundreds of different maramataka here in Aotearoa, and each one is an adaptation of the rohe and wherever they lived. So that's why when I say when to study the maramataka is to know where you live and know where you stand. And so it's about your daily observations. Rangi Mātua Mua was here probably a couple of weeks ago, about a month ago. And one of the key things he always talks about is knowing your environment. And when you know your environment, then you can adapt and you can study. So your idea is to watch what's going on in the environment. You're blessed to have the star compass here down in Ahuriri. I was there at 4 o'clock this morning till about 6, just studying and watching the different movement of the stars, because we don't see those in Tamaki. We are missing half of them because of light pollution. But we studied it. So what we do is what a lot of whānau are doing is they take the maramataka and the Gregorian calendar and they merge them together. The whakatauriki gives us the whole how we should look at everything. E rongo te pō, e rongo te ao. Is staying balanced between tamanui te rā and hena marama, is knowing how to work within both worlds. What we're trying to do, a lot of rangatahi are trying to merge those two together, but they don't belong together. So we have the Gregorian calendar, which is standalone, and the maramataka should be able to stand on its own feet and be used as a tool in any spaces. Maramataka was mainly designed for fishing, planting. All those things, when's the best time to plant, when's the best time to fish. But what we found is that there's many hidden knowledge within the maramataka. Our next slide. So this is Matua Bill Tāwhais is on the left, and this is my Kuia's one on the right. Sorry, it's Matua Bill Tāwhais living by the moon, and on the left is my Kuia's one that we had out at Te Hauke. And so they're very similar, but they adapted to how the movements of Lake Paukawa and everything was moving there. So maramataka, they might be very similar, but they will have different pūrākau, when's best the time to watch our tuna, when's the best time to let them go, when's the best time to work. Our next, let's put that there. So, maramataka is all, what it is just our tupuna watching over thousands of years and identifying and watching the movements and patterns of the environment. One of the things that our people have done is that we've disconnected from the environment. So if we don't know what to look out for, we're going to miss. I got as I was listening to this kōrero, I heard talking about the tuna. Now, the whakapapa of the tuna from the pūrākau I've been taught is that te ihorangi. Te ihorangi is one of the youngest siblings of Tāwhiri Mātea and Ruo Moko. So it goes, uru te nganga, ro iho ro ake, hai puru, hai matua. Whiro, Tāwhiri Mātea, Tangaro, Kiwa, te ihorangi. Te ihorangi is an atua that's up in the skies and in charge of the winds. And then, so for te ihorangi's mokopuna, the tuna, the mango, the inanga, so there's a correlation between the two. So nothing is ever created in isolation. Even a hidden face will reveal its impact on the environment. So if we're ever going to study the tuna, we must study the rest of its whakapapa. from a Māori kaupapa perspective is to look at the tuna, but also the mango, the barracuda, the inanga, because they're all connected together and what the impact on the winds are. So that's our triangulation. Tui get te rangi, tui get te whenua, tui get te moana. So we're going to touch basically on the different phases of the marama, which is ōturu. When I met up with a kaumātua by the name of Matua Rereata Makiha, and we sat down and we collaborated our mātauranga together, and it was around mental health spaces, but more around our rangatahi and suicide, because all the stats that we ever got was from the coroners, and they did it according to the Gregorian calendar. What we did is we transferred these data into the maramataka. And ōturu is a very special day. It's the day before the full moon. Ōturu is the soft waves that are coming. It's almost full moon. But ōturu also means calmness and beauty approaches. It means nature is moving. So if we're ever looking at our tuna and our inanga, they're always moving around ōturu. The tākeke and everyone lays their eggs on ōturu and they're delivered up onto the sands. And so we know that ōturu is a day. Don't ask me why it happens, but that's how the environment works. But what we found within our rangatahi was that the day before ōturu was a day called atua whakahaihai. Atua whakahaihai means is that there's a war, a battle going on in that space. So when our rangatahi and our tāne having a mental battle between the tinana and the hinengaro, the next day is known as ōturu, calmness and beauty approaches. The way that they see themselves out of this life was most suicides, and every year happened on ōturu. What we can learn from this is about watching and studying the environment, but also watching and studying our whānau, listening to the matangaro. Matangaro is a hidden voice. We have many birds and many animals now that are becoming a matangaro. We can't see them, but we may hear them. Our role as kaitiaki and as tangata whenua is to watch and listen to the changes that are happening in the environment, watch and listening to the changes within our whānau. Maramataka is all about adapt, change and manoeuvre. If we continue to operate, if everyone followed the same maramataka, we will have the same problems. So while we have most of our laws are written by down in Wellington and dropped into in Tamaki, and they dropped into Ngāti Porou, Ngāti Kahungunu, and they say this shoe fits everyone. The maramataka teaches us that we need to adapt to every region and know our own people. We know our own stories, we know our own whānau. We should be a part of that voting process, but when you have a policy that's written that everyone must fit, then it comes down. So we always use the whare tapawha. The whare tapawha is around our hinengaro, our tinana, our wairua, our whānau. The maramataka, most of our health professionals know that off by heart, but they don't know how to do it. Maramataka is the tool to achieve the whare tapawha and the well-being of our whānau, because it's always doing the right thing at the right time. I don't know why, if this conference, this kōrero was put on Tangaroa Kio today, because it's the phase of Tangaroa, and it's a hook, talking about the moana is all around Tangaroa. Tangaroa Kio means things that will be revealed. There's the day that the rat will come out during the daytime and you'll see them running around. It's also in the Pātiki, you'll see them in the daytime and you'll be able to fish them, especially in Tamaki, though you'll see them in broad daylight where they come through. So Tangaroa Kio, the atua of this time is Tangaroa, so we do that. Ōturu, Rākau Nui, Rākau Mātui and Takiro are the full moon. So the full moon, so these are the names of they were doing. The next, these days, is around being on the water, near the water, in the water, around Tangaroa. It also means to all atua are contributing at this time. So people will be in many different phases. Some say, we've heard kōrero that Rākau Nui is a high energy time. But when we write our maramataka, it's identifying what's the impact that this is having on me. Ngā karia roto, ngā karia waho. How is this impacting me now? Because for some, they'll be high energy and some will be tired. Ngenge. They need a sleep, we need to go for a sleep. So it's about adapting the maramataka to our health and well-being today. Our next one is tamatea ngāna, tamatea ahotu, tamatea io, tamatea kaiā Rikki. The atua of these time is ruo, moko, and tāwhiri mātea. This period is known as an unpredictable time. The weather is unpredictable. It's going to be rainy, summer, and all the weathers are all in one day. But as the weather becomes unpredictable, so do people. So the maramataka teaches us that this is a time that we really need to be aware on the road. When we have a look at people become, if the weather's playing crazy, people get crazy on the road too. So it's about being aware of our environment and really know where we're standing. And this is where I've gone blank. Kawaii, we'll carry on. So this is o mutu. So in the phrase we're going tangaroa, kio, o tāne, o rongonui, o mauri, o mutu, mutu whenua. Whiro. Whiro is on Monday. Whiro, from our studies, is when most of rangatahi and tāne were taking their lives. What we can learn from this pūrākau is whiro is the ato. The pūrākau for whiro is he whiro ana te marama, he rā tino kino. The whiro moon is hiding and is a very bad day. What our tūpuna did is that they would bring whānau in, and the maramataka at this time was used as a tool to bring whānau together. It's a time that we nearly observe and watch our whānau. He whakarau peka te mahara is when the puku and the tinana are out of alignment with each other. And in this period is a time when we're working with our whānau, we would do karakia and teach them our identity. Two of the atua of this period is known as hene nui te pō, tū mātauinga and whiro. From that we learn that we must do our whakapapa and connect our rangatahi back to who they are, remind them and teach them who they are. Because when we look at the names, it goes o mutu, or the day before it goes o rongonui, o mauri, o mutu, whiro, o tiria, o hoata, uenuku, o koro. They're known as the ors. Those ors is about bringing your family in together and protecting them and watching over them, about connecting our whakapapa and our whānau together to teach them their karakia, their whakapapa, their ori, all around their identity and who they are. Whiro was known as a bully in the atu. He was the bully in the atu of diseases of the stomach, of the puku. So we learned at this time is that to combat that we noho puku and we really think about and bring our mind and our tina now back into an alignment together. It's something that our tūpuna would do at this time to protect and to meditate and to think about their whānau. And we come into this way, there's tangaroa mua, tangaroa roto, tangaroa kio, and tangaroa whakapau. Every maramataka was different because some maramataka will have 3 tangaroa and 4 tamatea. What we learn from that is that's an inland maramataka. The closer you are to the moana, you would have 4 to 5 tangaroa days because that's the ato that's nearest to you. So you always got to adapt. Our maramataka is all around adapting to the environment we are living in today. So tangaroa mua, tangaroa roto, tangaroa kio, and tangaroa whakapau is that when we use the moana as a part of the healing processes for our whānau. So when we're talking to clinicians and different people, that are psychiatrists, is they take them out of the office and take them near tangaroa and allow tangaroa as part of rongoa to listen to the waves that are going on now. So we're moving from our offices into te taiao and using them in the right time. So tangaroa is about near the moana. Tamatea is we take them into the ngahere and we use the ngahere as a time of looking after our rangatahi and tāne. So we're reconnecting them back through whakapapa, back to the taiao. Our next slide here talks about oike, o tāne and huna. So it goes tangaroa mua, tangaroa roto, tangaroa kio, o tāne. O tāne is a day that we give back to tāne mahuta, that we plant trees we do not take from tāne. It's a day that we look after, and we look after our environment and we clean up our homes. We can plant trees, anything to do with tāne, we can look after manu, anything that will help our environment. There's 3 give back days within the marama. Oike is a give back day to Papa Tuanuku. O tāne is a give back day to tāne mahuta. And huna is a give back day to tangaroa. That's a day that we clean up the environment and we clean up our awa. So every month, without fail, our tupuna would give back. Because we live in a society now that we're continually taking and taking, but we need the days that have to be set apart according to the maramataka to give back. So it's quite interesting that we're learning around mātauranga Māori and maramataka being controlled by a Gregorian calendar by a colonised spell. But mātauranga Māori goes through everything. So we live in a time frame now, if we consider it, everything we do now is governed by the Gregorian calendar. See, we live in a lifestyle now that we work Monday, Tuesday, right through to Friday, Saturday. But the maramataka doesn't work like that. If you live by the maramataka, I promise you, half of you will be fired. Because it goes like that, it goes, rākau nui, rākau mātuhi, takiro is the high productive time where we work. Then we go into kore kore te whiwhia, kore kore te rawe, kore kore whāpiringa ki ngā tangaro. Kore kore means nothing, nothing. Means to chill. But not only just chill, but to relax and prepare for the next productive time, which is tangaroa mua, tangaroa roto, tangaroa kio kio, tangaroa whakapau. Those are the 4 productive times that we can use the morning. We work together and be really productive. Then we go into rest mode again. Then we go to o tāne where we give back. Then we go o rongonui, o mauri, o mutu whenua. Whiro, tiria, ohoata, uenuku, okoro, where we come as a whānau and we work together and we noho poku together, we whakapapa together, we do everything together. Then we get into a really productive time of tamarua, tamatea mua, tamatea hotu, tamatea ngāna, tamatea hotu, tamatea io, tamatea kaiaraki, another time that we're productive, but we've got to be really careful how we're working in the environment. Then we go huna. Huna is probably the worst day to do anything. Huna means to hide. So if you're ever doing a hui or anything, you don't want anyone to contribute, have it on huna, because no one will turn up. And everyone will keep their opinions to themselves, and you better have a kai because most of the kōrero will come out then. See, we don't live according to the environment. We live according to a Gregorian calendar that doesn't operate within the taiao at the same time. So the maramataka is about putting us back in sync with the environment and working according to the different vibrations and rhythms of the taiao. So whiro is known, when whiro rises, is known as a tai pariata. So every morning on whiro and rākau nui's tai pariata will always be high tide in the morning. And from there we can learn is that the tai pariata of whiro is when she's rising, and the tai pariata of rākau nui is when she's setting. And then we know how to use which environment as the tides come in. Tangaroa Keo this morning was watching her rise. She was up at 2 o'clock, rose at 2 o'clock this morning, and will set 2 o'clock later this afternoon. So it's about looking, when we go outside, is to look up, look down, and look out. A matangaro is a hidden voice. What's happening is, when I've worked in tangihanga for many years, 24 years. Anyone watch Casketeers? Yeah, I was the shady cars deal person that sold the broke down hearse. But my dad and them were all on there, so we've worked in tangihanga for many years. And a lot of kōrero and the feedback that we got from whānau is that we didn't see it coming. Around whakamomori and sort of, we didn't see it coming. I promise you, we weren't listening properly. He matangaro. And if we don't catch it at a matangaro, a hidden face, then it becomes matahuna. Matahuna is like matangaro is like the wind. We can't see it, but we can see the impacts that it has on the environment. When my daughter gets home, and when I get home sometimes, and I look at my wife across the room, and oh, mate aho, I'm dead. She doesn't have to say anything. Anei he matangaro. When my daughter gets home, and I know what sort of day she had just by the way she closes the door. Anei he tohu. So what we've got to do is, as we reconnect back to the environment, we start reconnecting back to our rangatahi and to our whānau, and we start hearing the voices that we didn't hear before. We start, as we connect back to the manu, we start hearing the manu that we never heard before. We may have heard it, but we haven't seen it. That's a matangaro. Our role is, kaitiaki, is to listen out for the different cries and the different tangi of our rangatahi. In the north, they have a bird called a riro. They have 4 different tangi cries when different things are ready. I've got 5 minutes. They have 4 different. There's a time when the first one is when the first tangi of the riro is time to prepare the land. The second tangi of the riro is to plant your garden. The third tangi of the riro is to weave your kete. The fourth one is to dig it up. So that as we listen to it, this is all the mātauranga that has been lost, is listening to the different cries and different cries of the manu, knowing when to plant. So we go, if we have a look up in north, what we're doing with Matuareriata, is that we were watching the tākeke, which is the piper. The piper, and he heard an old kōrero, he says, I te rā, I te marama o haki hea, ka putu mai a rehua, ka putu mai te matiti muramura, kua tai mai te heke o te tāheke. What that does, it gave the coordinates, I te marama o ōturu. What that does, it gave the coordinates of when the tākeke would lay their eggs, which was on the rising of rehua, on the moon of ōturu, at the blooming of the pahutakawa, the tākeke eggs will come in. And how they got it, there's a square shed of kōrero that they would sweep the beaches of all the pebbles and clean up all the rākau and all the rubbish there before ōturu moon. And that allowed the tākeke eggs to come on. And on the next whero moon, they'll come back in and take them back out. So making us aware of the environment around it, because if you have the tākeke come in, not just be after the tākeke, you have the kahawai. After the kahawai, you have the haku. After the haku, you have the marlin. So nothing is ever created in isolation. Everything moves in patterns. Whatever's happening in the heavens will also happen on the land and the moana. And our role is to identify and move with those patterns. One of the things that when I listen to the studies that we limit our academics was limiting it to just isolation. So if we study the tuna, the eel, we must study the rest of its whakapapa. What is the rising stars that they come in? So we know it's tuna will run on Poutu Te Rangi. We know it will run on Ōturu. We know that its whakapapa goes back to Te Ihorangi, which is the winds, and the winds have been impacted on the tuna. So we need to broaden our scope and look at all the other whānau that are studying the mango, the inanga, the barracuda, and joining those whakapapa together to get the full picture. Because if we looked at it in isolation, that's where we have most of our problems happen, especially with our rangatahi, is that we need to look at them in the big picture. This mātauranga we've been sharing is with tamariki in schools. We've got schools starting to live by the maramataka. We've got schools, and these children write down how they feel in the morning and the evening and the impact that the environment is having on them. Then that way they're moving in sync with the environment. The teachers will then change according to what they need. So if we're in the tangaro phase, it's about doing multiple activities at that time around water and having kōrero about why and the awa, and they take them down to the awa, the moana, and learn through that. And so they're changing the environment. So we do everything by the maramataka. One of the things we're writing up now is within the DHB in the Auckland DHB in Waitemata is restructuring the whole way that we work with our people according to the maramataka, so that they become, so we move in sync with the people. We taught over 2,000 police in Auckland around suicide prevention, around maramataka. What was happening is they'll take them to the hospital, and 2 hours later they're going to have to look to them. Then they can have this kete, and this kete might take them down to the moana and have a kōrero with them and sit with them. They'll have their whānau, and then their whānau will go, there might be time of tamate, and they move and they go into the ngāhere and they sit down there with a rongoa, and then they have a kawa tea, and then they use mātauranga Māori to bring these tamariki back down. So maramataka is all about studying your environment and doing the right thing at the right time according to the environment. If we don't change and adapt, we die. So maramataka is about studying and seeing what's going on and adapting to it. So if we might go all the way down to Wairarapa, and they will look through their maramataka, what's going on in the community, all completely different ki wairo. They might have similarities, but you adapt it and evolve it to the people that are there. Cool. So this is one of the models that we created, was around the maramataka. We put it into a circle. Why we did this is you can buy calendars and all these flash things and apps, and everyone's using apps. People go, why don't you create an app? I said, because the app will just still disconnect you from the environment. So you look at your app and you go, oh, today's this. No, Martin, go outside and look. I was like, what's the point of getting an app? We're still going to have the same problems. But hey, but you use the app to increase your mātauranga, so you have the app. We put this all in circles because our tupuna didn't look at everything in straight lines. Everything was in circles. We go round and round and round until we find the solution. So Western academic tells you start here, and it's just straight line. Te ao Māori, we go around and around. And so when we wānanga it for lots of time until we come to a solution. But the Gregorian telling us you have from midday, Wednesday to 2 o'clock, Wednesday to come up with a solution to the problem. Maramataka tells you, you keep going until you find the solution. And if it takes you 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 3 months to get that answer, everyone just keeps working on it, and it's about using the environment and doing it, studying and working in the environment at the right time to come up with the right solution. Nō reira whānau, kua mutu taku kōrero. Kia ora.
Ka pai, we have a couple of pātai for our presenter. Pātai tuatahi e hoa, kia ora Rikki, kia ora. Have you any issues using modern day imagery for our atua as superheroes?
Nope. Because they are our heroes. We should be writing our own stories and pūrākau that our rangatahi can connect to. They don't need to connect to Superman. They just connect to Whiro and Uru. Those are the people that they should be knowing, not Batman and Superman. We've got our own cartoon heroes that should be, our pūrākau should be taught. Yeah.
Kia ora, tautoko katoatia. Especially our wahine atua, don't forget about them. Kia ora, Rikki, anō, have you any issues using modern day imagery? Oh no, we got that one. There. The maramataka you present, is it Kahungunu specific? Where is the best place to learn about Kahungunu maramataka?
There will be knowledge holders here in Kahungunu that hold it, because I've been living in Tāmaki in the north, so mine has been adapted to there. So there'll be whānau here, and if there isn't here, then learn it. And then adapt that maramataka to what you observe in the mornings and the evenings, the weather patterns, the environments. I know there was a tupuna, Paraire Te Mōna, that had a lot of mātauranga, so you can use his. There's our whānau had one. Maybe I can put that up there. I'll ask the whānau. I'll just do it anyway. But yeah, so it's, if you haven't, we use the Hokianga one, and because it's adaptable. Maramataka is adaptable. Because our tupuna gave us, here's the question, our tupuna gave us permission by adapting the maramataka, because they did it over 300 times. So it's about studying here. So you would do a maramataka for here, maramataka for Pakipaki, maramataka for Omahu, maramataka for Te Hauki. It'll be great to get to the point when you click on the marae, the maramataka is on there as well, and observing. So we do our matariki. When you're celebrating matariki, you're celebrating it from when you see it from your marae. That's that's what I hope to come back here and allow everyone. So for us in Te Hauki, because we've got Koko Roa in the way, we would be pushing it, seeing matariki in around July. So it's about adapting, using the pūrākau there, but having permission to adapt it and changing and evolving. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Kia ora.